Shout out Ben for tweeting this at me, and you're gonna love this headline, Graham. This is great. QAnon supporter Marjorie Taylor Greene just won a seat in Congress. Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene is the first candidate who has openly supported QAnon to reach Congress.
In what district?
Georgia's 14th.
Jesus, man.
First candidate who has openly supported QAnon to reach Congress. Greene, a Republican who said QAnon is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take this global cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles out, won virtually unopposed after her Democratic rival, Kevin Van Ostel, announced he was withdrawing from the race in September. She also has a history of making racist, anti-Semitic, and Islamophobic comments. While Greene won easily, Van Ostel's name remained on the ballot and garnered over 20% of the vote on Tuesday. So the guy who was like, hey, I'm not doing this, I'm not running, still got 20% of the vote. And a QAnon supporter just won a seat in Congress. Now, again, her quote here, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take this global cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles out. The very sad thing here, and I know, Graham, you have done a lot more content on this topic than I have, but I think we all know the very sad thing here is that child trafficking is very, very real. Pedophilia, of course, is very, very real and a rampant problem. And when you take it to this place where you think Donald Trump is some savior trying to unmask this big thing, and you take it to this ridiculous level of absurdity, less people are susceptible to some real messages that are out there. People do use code. Yeah. It does happen. The FBI, I mean, there's been research done on this stuff. They do use code. There are things that are very peculiar and disturbing that are worth looking into and worth investigating. And now if you just ask those critical questions, you're more likely to be dismissed because of absurdity like this.
What you're saying to me supports and I think it's more than a theory, because there's WikiLeaks has some documents and I still haven't had a chance to go through them, but it lends itself to the fact that QAnon is a psyop. Because one of the things you do when you're guilty of a legitimate awfulness, like let's say you're part of the billionaire sex trafficking ruling class, the pedophile ruling class, putting QAnon out there is actually great, because then what it does is it lumps in. It's why they put the crazy conspiracies out there. And then anyone that's doing real investigative journalism, you get lumped into. So if I sit here and talk about the evidence that I've seen in the Podesta emails and in the flight logs of the connection of the Clintons and Trump to Epstein, I am then lumped into this same crazy category. And so that it makes it then seem that the actual, the cabal of, and many of them probably are satanic sex trafficking pedophiles. So now I'm lumped into the same category as the Alex Jones, whatever, flat earther, lizard people. I'm just looked at as a wingnut. Look, they did that. If you watch that documentary, Out of Shadows, the woman that uncovered Pizzagate, she has a history of being a pretty solid investigative journalist and has never been called a crazy, never been smeared. She's uncovered real solid stuff. And she went after Pizzagate the same way. And she went through the Podesta emails and she said, while there's no direct mention of sex trafficking or having sex with children, all of these code words, which are backed up by the FBI, who has investigated that cheese pizza means, I don't know specifically, but it's like cheese pizza means sex with a boy. Pepperoni pizza means sex with a girl. All this shit. It's all said in these emails. She goes, when I started asking the questions, she goes, I've done all this investigative journalism. I've dealt with whistleblowers on all these other cases. And I didn't get smeared this hard until I started doing this story. So I firmly believe QAnon is a psyop. And it's also, it's working towards being full fascist, because then it brings in some of these people that say, oh, it's a Zion. It's only, the Democrats and, the Jews that are doing it. It's just some preposterous thing like that, which is like, No, the billionaire ruling class is the problem. But the billionaire ruling class has the money to put this kind of, I mean, this is classic CIA stuff to just divide people enough, right? So Julian Assange, oh, WikiLeaks is tied to Russia. So Julian Assange is Russia. So then you just make that thin connection. So now Hillary Clinton's off the hook. The Podesta emails are all considered crazy. And you're just thrown into that, you know, oh, you're a Russian asset, or just whatever. They make the accusation, oh, Julian Assange is a rapist or whatever. They just make those accusations and then people run on them. And then any legitimate thing that's brought up is just immediately dismissed. So now this woman, and of course they let this elevate this woman to come to Congress. So now they can say, oh, so Graham, you agree with some of these QAnon people? QAnon is about 60 to 70% correct on stuff. But then when they think Trump is the hero, it's insane to me. Like they won't, all of his ties to Epstein, they don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it. So now if I agree with some of their stuff, I'm just as bad as this woman that says anti-Semitic stuff and racist stuff. And now she's in Congress because who knows what, maybe they threaten this guy running against him or whatever the thing is. You see how effective QAnon is. So somebody like myself or Whitney Webb, you know, who's doing real investigative journalism about the ruling elites and how horrific they are, we're now lumped into this category with these wingnuts. Immediately, we're just completely discounted. That's how effective. That's why you know QAnon is a psyop. Look at how effective it is at discounting actual journalism and actual connecting of the dots. Look what it does.